When American football head coach resigned to join another team, he caught his college players and staff off guard, and made matters even more awkward when he expressed his apologies in a heartfelt text message he sent at night. What happened? On Tuesday, AEDT, the 12-year Notre Dame college football head coach left for Louisiana State University, LSU, on a rumored $140 million Australian dollar 10-year agreement. He'll be taking over for Ed Orgeron, who announced his departure from LSU in October. Both his current players and staff at Notre Dame looked to be caught off guard by the move. According to a photograph acquired by The Atlantic, Kelly sent a text message to his players late Monday night, local time, to tell them of his resignation. Kelly's move comes only a week after he shot off reports that he was leaving Notre Dame, stating, "Unless that fairy godmother comes by with that $250 million check, my wife would want to look at it first. I'd have to run it by her." We can assume his wife gave him the green light, since he announced on Tuesday officially that he will, in fact, be leaving. But while he may have kept her in the loop, the decision certainly comes as a shock to the rest of the team. They ended up having to find out through social media. Kelly then sent them all text messages which read, "Men, let me first apologize for the late night text, and more importantly, for not being able to share the news with you in person that I will be leaving Notre Dame. I'm flying back to South Bend tonight to be able to meet with you in the morning, but the news broke late today, and I'm sorry you found out through social media or news reports. I will have more to share when we meet tomorrow at 7 a.m., but for now, just know that my love for you is limitless, and I'm so proud of all that you have accomplished. I will share more in the morning when we meet. Again, my sincere apologies for not being able to be the one to share the news directly with you. Staff, 2021. Meeting the team. After that seemingly heartfelt apology, Coach Kelly seemed like he really wasn't in the mood to stay, as ESPN reporter Adam Rittenberg told he only spent 11 minutes interacting with the players to discuss what had happened, and it doesn't seem like people took it too well, as one of his assistant coaches told The Atlantic that Kelly's move made him look like. What does this mean for Notre Dame? Coach Kelly's leaving will be a blow to Notre Dame, but his departure might have other consequences. Future recruits who signed up with the expectation of working with the seasoned coach may decide not to, now that he is no longer available for coaching at Notre Dame. According to insiders, there will be considerable push among Notre Dame decision-makers to promote defensive coordinator Marcus Freeman to head coach. The Athletic's Pete Sampson say, while first-time head coaches are not commonly appointed at Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish are in better position today than in previous decisions. The source also said that Kelly contacted Freeman on Monday in an attempt to lure him to Baton Rouge. The Athletic's Matt Fortuna believes LSU also seemed to be interested in Notre Dame offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. ND Athletic Director Jack Swarbrick said he told Irish assistant coaches to keep recruiting and visiting with prospects, but an interim head coach has yet to be hired or at least named. Other news. In other NFL news, let's talk about player injuries, achievements, and retirements. The Arizona Cardinals. According to Darren Urban of the Cardinals, both quarterback Kyle Murray and wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins practice on Wednesday. According to Cliff Kingsbury, it's unclear if the two will be able to play in the team's away game against Chicago on Sunday, but their participation in practice suggests they're getting close. Murray has been out with an ankle ailment, while Hopkins has a hamstring problem. Neither player has appeared in a game since a Week 8 defeat to the Green Bay Packers. Murray seems to have a greater chance of returning this weekend when the Cardinals play the Chicago Bears after their bye week. He was able to get some practice in before the week off, but the Cardinals will be very careful with him, like they were with Hopkins. Murray has already missed Arizona's last 3 games, and the Cardinals are 2-1 without him. As a reward of their efforts, Arizona has maintained its lead atop the NFC West, but it hasn't come without some emotional strain for Murray, who has had to watch his team struggle without him, but the player insists he is over it and in a good headspace. This positive mindset might take him back to the field against Chicago, though a bit of caution is still suggested, as we've gone through a similar process of will he won't he in each of the Cardinals' previous 3 weeks leading up to kickoff. New Orleans Saints. For the 4th game in a row, the New Orleans Saints will be without their most feared offensive weapon. Alvin Kamara will not play for the Saints against the visiting Dallas Cowboys on Thursday Night Football, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport and Jane Slater. Taron Armstead, knee, and Ryan Ramczyk, knee, will both miss practice due to injuries. As a possible substitute, the Saints have signed offensive lineman Caleb Benenoch from their practice squad to the 53-man roster ahead of Thursday's game. According to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, Kamara was doubtful heading into Thursday due to a knee issue that had held him out of the previous 3 games. His absence will be extended as the Saints took to stop a 4-game losing run without him. Ramczyk didn't practice on Tuesday or Wednesday, while Armstead had not practiced all week. Chicago Bears. Next, Justin Fields' ribs. Of the Chicago Bears practice but in limited capacity. Fields last played in Week 11 against the Ravens when he was hurt. According to NFL Network's Stacey Dales, Chicago intends to give Andy Dalton first-team reps for the time being. Linebacker Roquan Smith had injured his hamstring, defensive lineman Akeem Hicks his ankle, tight end Cole Kmet his groin, and receiver Allen Robinson also his hamstring. Denver Broncos. According to coach Vic Fangio, the Denver Broncos held running back Melvin Gordon out of practice due to shoulder and hip problems. Safety Kareem Jackson, neck, and Bradley Chubb, ankle, took part in limited practice. According to NFL Network's James Palmer, left tackle Garrett Ball Vols, who has been out with COVID-19 since November 22nd and hasn't played since Week 8 due to an ankle injury, is slated to return tomorrow. Ronald Darby, cornerback, and Shelby Harris, defensive end, did not practice due to sickness. Dallas Cowboys. Amari Cooper was activated off the reserve COVID-19 list by the Dallas Cowboys. He is labeled as questionable for Thursday's game against the Saints. Cedric Wilson, the team's wideout, has also been ruled out with an ankle injury. Player achievements. In ranks, Jonathan Taylor carried for 556 yards and 3 touchdowns in 4 games in November, averaging 139 yards per game, after averaging 156.8 scrimmage yards per game and scoring 8 rushing touchdowns and 9 total touchdowns. The Indianapolis Colts running back was named AFC Offensive Player of the Month. Then comes Justin Jefferson's rapid ascension to the ranks of the NFL's finest receivers. Continues following a November in which he caught 24 passes for 464 yards, averaging 116 yards per game. Over the previous month, the Minnesota Vikings wideout recorded 3 touchdown catches. J.C. Jackson of the New England Patriots hauled in 4 interceptions in November, earning him AFC Defensive Player of the Month honors. Jackson made 6 tackles, 6 passes defensed, and a forced fumble, and one of his 4 interceptions was returned for a touchdown. Though the Chicago Bears have had their share of problems, linebacker Robert Quinn has been outstanding. Quinn was named NFC Defensive Player of the Month after accumulating 5.5 sacks, 14 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble. Micah Parsons, a Dallas Cowboy linebacker whose flexibility and ability have taken center stage in Big D, was named Defensive Rookie of the Month. In the previous month, Parsons had 25 tackles, 6.5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles. According to Coach Pete Carroll, the Seattle Seahawks added running back Adrian Peterson to the practice squad. Mike Garofalo of NFL Network reported earlier in the day that Seattle had invited the 36-year-old in for a visit. In 3 games with the Titans this season, Peterson had 27 carries for 82 yards and a score. He was released on November 23rd. Retirement. Kenny Vaccaro, a veteran safety, announced his retirement from the NFL after 8 seasons to create G1, an esports business. Well, that's the end of today's video, guys. Hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button and comment below to let us know what you think of Coach Brian Kelly's decision. To keep seeing content like this, subscribe to our channel and ding that notification bell to be notified when we upload more content. Stay tuned. See you next time. Bye!